It's my wife. I think about you a lot. He had a lot of maxing.
He's being polite. That's right. In other words, you're a cocky bastard. That's what we're trying to say.
You know the story on him? The Dodgers have given up on him. They sold him to some West Coast ball club, I think. Or was it Detroit? Did he go to Detroit? They sent him back. And then the shortstop got hurt or something. They started to play. He thought, stealing base. Of course, he was a banjo hitter. He just laid the ball, the bat on the ball. And, I guess the big leagues were tailor-made for him. I don't know.
Yeah.
He was successful, so
exactly.
Can't take that away from him.
He played for Lockport in 1947, 48, and 49 at third base, and also managed the Olean Club in 1951.
How'd you get started in baseball, and how'd you end up in Jamestown, New York?
Well, I was picked up by the Cardinals in 1938 at a baseball school in Rochester. There was about 300 guys there, and I was one of 3 that they signed. And my first year, which was 1938, I played in New Iberia, Louisiana. From there, I went to Portsmouth, Ohio, to Greensburg, Pennsylvania, Washington, Pennsylvania, Decatur, Illinois, in the 3I League. Let's see, I played out in the Western Association, but and the way I come to Jamestown, I played in a basketball tournament down here in 1945, or early 46, when I got out of the service, and John Yakum and Mark Hamill were at the game, and I had a pretty good tournament. And Mark was a baseball enthusiast, and I think he knew every ball player in the country. And John Yakum at one time, I think, was a scout for the Cardinals, so they knew a little about me, so they asked me if I was interested in playing, and I didn't have any intentions of playing.
What position did you play, Orv?
I was a third baseman.
Third baseman.
Primarily. I played all over, but I was a third baseman. So they threw a couple $50 at me, so I decided to take a shot at it, and we had a pretty good year, a pretty good ball club, and then from there I went to spring training with Minneapolis and the American Association. Supposed to go to Little Rock, and the Southern Association had a little confrontation and over money, and ironically bought my release, and I wanted Lockport for a few years. And I played up in Canada in what they call an outlaw league, more or less, a fast semi-pro league in 1950, and managed Olean in 1951.
Tell me about Jamestown. Tell me about the 1946 team, and tell me about Tommy Hurst. Then you get a chance to tell him later.
We had a great ball club, some great guys. Naturally, when you're winning, I guess everybody's a great guy.
Who's your manager?
Marv Olson.
What kind of guy was he?
I often think about Marv. He was sort of a quiet guy. He actually never said very much to me. I think he had a little admiration for me as a ball player, but he never told me to do this, do that, or I'm doing that. I was always on my own.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can take that as a compliment or what, but an easygoing guy, comical, funny. As far as Tom is concerned, not because he's sitting here, one of the best athletes I ever saw. I think Tom could have played any position. In fact, he used to run away with when we had field days, the field events, he used to run away with all the money.
Tell me about a field day. What was that?
Well, they had running events and fungo hitting, throwing. What else did they have, Tanner?
Well, $20 for a home run.
Yeah.
Say so much money for RBIs,
Yeah.
so much money for base hits, and I did pretty good one night.
Tommy. And I used to shield my position at third base. I didn't want him warming up over there. He's allowed to take my job. But if you want a favorite story, one of my favorite stories, I was always an admirer of Johnny Pollock. John was a real hustler and loved to play the game. We call it gamer, but we were playing in Hornell. And there was a player by the name of Bill Hudasic, played center field for Hornell, later played for me in Olean. Pretty good hitter, left-handed hitter, but he had a habit of, when he swung and he missed, he'd bring the bat around and quite a ways. And I told John, I said, John used to catch pretty close to the hitter. And I told him, when Bill comes up, you better move back or you're going to get whacked. And about 3 innings later, John got hit in the back of the head, and I can still see him. The mask came off, and we were at the first base dugout. And right behind the first base dugout, there was a door that went out of the stadium, a gate. And John was wandering toward that gate and ready to go out to the stadium. Naturally, he didn't know where he was. And Charlie Medler, who pitched for us, grabbed him. And or I think John would be still walking. We had another incident that I remember in Bradford, the catcher and the pitcher.
Paul Snyder.
He was pitching over there one night, and all of a sudden he stopped and he's walking around the mound. And we didn't know what the hell was going on, so finally we all walked over there. We asked him what happened, and he lost his eye. He had a glass eye, which we weren't aware of, and it had dropped out, and he was looking for it in the dust out there, in the dirt, and finally we located it, or somebody located it. He washed it out, put it back in, and continued on pitching.
That's terrible.
The guy that I thought was an exceptional hitter was Johnny Newman, from Jamestown here. He married a girl from here, I guess. He originally was in the Cardinal organization. Real good hitter.
What ruined his career when he broke his leg.
Yeah.
And he gained a lot of weight, you know. But he was a terrific hitter.
Great hitter. Good story for you. You don't recall a guy by the name of Bob Masterson, do you?
I don't.
Played for Hamilton. Very intelligent guy. But anyways, he was a pilot, a Navy pilot, a carrier pilot. And I think we were either in Bradford or, I think it was Bradford. And he walked in his sleep. And we found him out on the roof of the hotel. And he was flagging the planes in. And nobody went near him. And eventually he turned around and went back to his room and went to bed.
Unbelievable.
Unbelievable.
Back to 1946, the season you were got into the playoffs, you got the finals of the playoffs, you pennant position. What about the highlights of that year? Do you recall any specific game?
Oh, I remember the game in Olean there. I think they had a big tank, water tank there in left center. And he hit one, and it turned in, I don't know, I think it seemed like to me like 500 feet. It darn near hit that tank.
Who hit it? Orv. Do you remember that, Orv?
I should, but I wasn't really a home run hitter, I guess.
Well, but you really hit that one.
Yeah, well, yeah.
I'll never forget that.
Occasionally, I'm glad, huh? Occasionally you hit.
And we'll have it on film forever.
Right.
I ever tell you the story about Orv in Olean, right? Well, to separate right field, a home run from a double in right field, they had about an 1.5 inch arrow board. Orv come up and hit one night, put it right through that board. The line drive, and the same size as a baseball. We took the baseball out there later, and we could put it right back in there. Never seen such a power hit in all my life.
They want you up front.